So, morning. Something just crossed my mind, right? If you never take or get the opportunity to be in a space of solitude, you will never develop your true self, right? Growing up, we're all taught to take on these hats of identity, like you're this person or these people's daughter or son, you're this person's husband or wife, you're this person's student, or you're this person's friend, or you're this person's employee, and every last one of those aspects of you is a totally different identity for the most part, because they all come with separate expectations. But at the very core of who you are supposed to be to yourself, you can't develop that person because you're too busy being all these other people for all these other people, right? That's one of the reasons why later on in life, after you no longer work this place, or when you're retired, or you're not raising children anymore, or even after you get a divorce, or you stop being friends with people and you just kind of isolate to yourself, your true inner self starts to arise, and you start realizing all these things that you like and don't like, all these personalities that you said, oh, that's not me, but it keeps showing up. You become your true self when you're by yourself, because now you only have to live up to the expectations that you require for yourself. Or your soul will say, hey, this is who I've been trying to be all this while, but you've been so distracted with life on earth and all these people and places and things and ideas that you thought were genuinely you, and it wasn't. You never asked you who you were, because they'll tell you. I know they tell me. People who are genuinely authentic love to be alone, right? Because they understand that it is in the darkness that things are formed. When you're in the womb, that's darkness. When you're going through a sad moment and you come to a revelation of who, what, when, where, and why, that's the darkness. When you're going through an awakening, they call it the dark night of the soul. You have all this opportunity to grow in the darkness, but we were taught, to fear the darkness of everything. We were taught to stay in the light, to stay conscious, stay awake, don't go to sleep. But here's the thing, when you go to sleep, like literally at night, when you go to sleep, in the darkness of your mind, in those dreams, you get so many messages from God, from your spirit, from your angel guide, like whoever talking to you. Like, you get so many messages in the darkness. When you're elevating, what do they tell you to do? Go do shadow work, because it's in the darkness that you find the light. So if you're so busy trying to be somebody's wife, or be somebody's mom, or be somebody's anything other than to be your authentic self, no matter whether anybody like it or not, you're trying to be so attached to other things that you detach from who you truly are. You lose your identity. And you become miserable, and your soul becomes chaotic, and it starts to rebel, and you go through depression and isolation, and it's trying to make you go isolate so I can come out. You know, like your inner child will fight you and be like, hey, I'm trying to be who I'm supposed to be, but you keep focusing on everything else. You keep neglecting me. There's a lot of things that I need to work out and I need to grow from. But if you keep trying to be all these other people who I am not, I don't resonate with that. You're just taking on things that make you feel like you're doing something. You're becoming someone. And that's not really who you are. That's not the genuine you. Your inner child, your soul, your true identity, whatever you want to call it, it will fight you. You will never be completely content and happy within yourself, because you will always have this thing, this need to attach to other people. I'm not saying bonding with people is bad. It's not. It's so not, because that's, you know, that's a part of the process too. But when you find that your whole goal in life is to be someone for someone else, to be something else other than who you are, you're fully attached to everything but you. You're not anchored to your soul. You're just fragments of identity all over the place. You have to take time and be by yourself. When you're married, you've been married since you were going through puberty, and now you're in your 40s, your 30s, you got kids, you've been all these people except you. If you do not just take time, and I know it's hard because you always have to be a wife, you always have to be a husband, you always have to be a mom. It's almost like that job, that identity never ends. And a lot of people say, this is who I am, but those people have never truly been alone. People who live alone, eventually, even when you're retired and your spouse is gone, your kids are gone, and you're centered by yourself, you feel lost. I know a lot of retired people, after they retire and they're living alone for the first time in decades, they are totally lost because they are like, who am I now? But if you have taken the time or were given the opportunity to learn who you were in the beginning or earlier, at the end of your journey, you won't feel lost. When people leave, you're not so attached to them because you're so anchored in you that you no longer feel this emptiness. When people come and go, when situations change, you are constant. You're still gonna be who you are, no matter what's going on in the vortex around you. You are always on your 10. You feel me? Like you're always on your 10. No matter if you're married or single, you're still you. You still love all the same things. You're still the same person. You're still grounded in who you are and what you are, because you know how you can tell you're grounded? Because you got boundaries. You're not gonna say, well, I'm single, so I don't do this or I don't do that. But as soon as you get into a relationship, all of a sudden now it's negotiable. That means that's not who you were. You were just being this thing for the moment, but now you're over here being this person. You're a fraud. Like you're fractured. But if you're the same way here and you're the same person here, and your boundaries are still, hey, that's a no for me when I'm single, that's a no for me when I'm in a relationship, when I'm in a friendship, on my job, at my church, whatever. Like that's me. It ain't no nasty attitude. Like it's really that anchored to you. Like that's just you. You've developed it, you've tried it, tested it, and it is truly you. That's how you know you fully evolved into who you are. But if you're constantly changing and adapting and being a shapeshifter to fit into different groups of people and places, you're a lost soul. You really are. There's a difference between adapting to your situation and actively transforming to fit into that situation. It should be a natural progress, but you're still who you are. Your yes is still yes and your no is still no. But if you compromise everything about you, I ain't no alcoholic, right? And I don't smoke actively. I might smoke 1% of my time, and that's just whatever. That's me trying shit. But I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker. You won't see me doing this every day of the week. You just won't, because I don't want my breath to stink and whatever else. But that's my 10. Like, I don't smoke. I don't date people who smoke a lot. I don't, because I don't want that. But if I begin to date someone and they're an active smoker, and I allow that part of me to become who I am while I'm with this person, I'm being a fraud, because the moment we break up, I'm going to stop smoking. So if I say I'm not a smoker, I'm not a smoker if I'm talking to you or not. If you smoke around me, hey, get away from me. I don't smoke. It ain't no judgment. It's my 10. Like, no, I don't smoke. I don't want you smoking around me. I don't like how it makes me feel. It is what it is. I don't care if we married, dating, friends, cousins, co-workers, whatever. I don't smoke. You like to drink hard liquor? I don't drink hard liquor. I don't want to be around people who drink hard liquor, because you act funny sometimes, and I just don't want that energy all up in me. But if I adapt because I hang out with you, I'm already conditioning my mind. Well, it's okay. Let me just do 1 or 2. No, that's not you. That's not me. I don't drink hard liquor. I've tried it. I don't like it. And my identity is, I drink wine. That's it. So if you are constantly finding yourself changing, if you constantly find yourself changing to fit in with all these different people, not adapting, purposely changing, like you stop eating a certain way, you stop watching certain things, or you act, if you find this I've seen somebody do this, that's how I knew they were a manipulator. They're a shapeshifter. Probably a reptilian. I have seen people who said, hey, I respect that person, or I like that person, I want to be friends with that person. They now have studied that person, they've talked to them, they found out what that person liked, and I have seen them actively sit and study this thing. If this person likes a particular TV show and they've never been interested in that show, now all of a sudden they are absorbed into learning this thing so that they can go and connect with this person. Ooh, that's a master manipulator, baby. When you see people actively studying who you are to be a part of where you are, you need to get very far from that person, because that person, ooh, they are dangerous. That's a person with no identity. That's a master narcissist. When they will become whoever to get whatever. They have no boundaries. They have no conscience. They have no identity. Oh, I have seen those people become so many different people. But when you catch them at their soloness, that person has no clue who they are. None. They're willing to latch on to this person, that person. Oh, this group of people go drinking every night. I don't do that, but let me do it because I want to fit in. That's now my identity. Baby. Don't make friends with people like that. If you don't do it, you don't do it, you don't do it. People will respect you for being you even if they don't like you. But when people see that you constantly shape shift, you are not to be trusted. They will not trust you. They'll be like, well, damn, you know, you said you don't do this, but you're doing it with them. And then over here, you're doing the total opposite, acting like this is who you really are. That's a cause for concern. You have to be mindful that your true self is your true self, no matter what the circumstance, no matter what the situation. Your priorities are your priorities. Your boundaries are your boundaries. Your identity is your identity. It evolves, but there's a core to you. Your values, your standards. And if you're not actively taking solitude away from the world, away from who you are to everybody else, and actively developing you, I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be a rude awakening when everything falls apart, because eventually it does. Your spouse is going to die, or your children are going to grow up, pass away, or leave. And then that identity that you have attached to this person, it's gone. Now you're looking for something else to fill. You know, now you're looking for something else to fill that void. A lot of empty nesters go through that. They're like, man, for the past 18, 19, 20 years, we've been parents. And we're still parents, but we're not active parents anymore. Our children are grown and they're gone, and we're now stuck with each other again in solitude. And now a lot of people get divorced when they don't have that anchor to latch on to. Couples get divorced when they come together, they have this child, and they're like, ooh, we're parents. But if the child passes away, now they don't know who they are anymore. And they're looking at each other like, I don't know how to be your wife anymore. I don't know how to be your husband anymore. That was not the complete identity. And now they start to fracture, and they break, and they fall apart. They just dissipate. And it's like, ooh, if you don't know who you are going in, you're not going to know who you are coming out. So my advice is to always do self-care. Always take time. One day a week, I don't care what you're doing. Say, hey, this is me time. And you go be with yourself. You talk to